All right then, let's get moving. We got a long road ahead of us.
Has anybody got a dime? Somebody's got to go back and get a load of dimes.
We're headed for adventure as we join a caravan to one of the most beautiful places in America, Zion National Park. Welcome to the Meergospective of Fallout, New Vegas, Honest Hearts. Honest Hearts begins by turning on your radio, where you'll hear a request from Jed Masterson.
Howdy.
He is looking for people to join the Happy Trails Caravan in their expedition to the town of New Canaan in northern Utah. If you're a courier or have a Pip-Boy, he is especially interested in you. How convenient. You're exactly what he's looking for. Along for the ride is Stella, a former sheriff, Ricky, a lying drug addict with a broken Pip-Boy, and two unnamed guards. Stella is cool, but Ricky is a complete jerk.
Something or someone make the mistake of crossing Ricky? I'll dead-eye him, her, or it.
Depending on your skill checks, you can convince him to scram or even carry some of your stuff. You'll also have to leave your companions behind. Sorry, Boone.
If that's what you think.
Joining an organization named the Happy Trails Caravan sounds like the trip will be filled with laughter and fun, like juggling or something. Except, when you set out, Jed tells you the story about a guy on the DLC's creepy cover art. His name was Joshua Graham, and he was the ruthless right-hand man of Caesar who was lit on fire and thrown into the Grand Canyon, earning him the name the Burned Man. Boy, what a happy story. Why is he telling you all of this anyway? Clearly the guy's dead, right?
Some of the slaves and tribals started to talk. Said Graham wasn't dead.
Once Jed's happy-go-lucky story is over, you arrive in Zion and are ambushed by a group of tribal raiders calling themselves the Whitelegs.
God damn it, ambush!
I guess they couldn't think of a better name, but at least it's descriptive. In the ambush, everyone dies except you. I suppose it would be a pretty lousy DLC if you died right out of the gate. This isn't Mass Effect 2. Not long after this, you meet another tribal named Follows Chalk, who is just adorable.
You're some kind of lucky, let me tell you.
He is a member of a different, friendlier tribe called the Dead Horses. Remember that guy who is definitely dead? Well, of course he's not, and Follows Chalk brings you to meet him. Joshua Graham isn't as vicious as Jed's not-so-happy story makes him sound. When you first meet him, he offers his sympathy for the loss of your caravan companions and says that you're not the courier he was expecting, which is a neat little hint about Ulysses. He also tells you that because of Caesar, the Whitelegs destroyed his hometown of New Canaan. Bummer. I guess the whole caravan trip was a waste of time. After his home was sacked, Joshua went to Zion and joined the Dead Horses with vengeance on his mind as he cleans his infinite pile of pistols. So now what? Your caravan is dead, New Canaan is gone, and you really like to get back to doing Mojave things. Joshua tells you that it's difficult to leave the valley without Daniel's help, as navigating the surrounding area is impossible. I mean, I have a Pip-Boy, quest markers, and fast travel, but okay, I'll bite. Daniel is a fellow New Canaanite and a missionary who is hanging out with a third tribal group called the Sorrows. He doesn't want to murder all of the Whitelegs, taking a more missionary approach. Instead, he wants to sneak the Sorrows out of the valley so as to protect them and their innocence. Since apparently nobody can do anything without your help, you set out to find some things to help everyone leave the park, like a compass and a map. On the way, you make some friends, kill a lot of unfriends, and trip balls while fighting a bear. In the end, you are met with choices that affect everyone living in the valley. This culminates with the big decision, which is whether to help Daniel and the Sorrows flee or go ham with Joshua and kill the Whitelegs leader, Salt Upon Wounds, and drive his tribe out of Zion. The first thing I noticed about the DLC is that Zion looks amazing if you're into nature. I've never personally been to Zion National Park, but looking at some pictures and given the limitations of the engine at the time, it looks like they did it justice. It's also much different than what you're used to in New Vegas. The natural beauty of the valley is where the good ends, though. The map is pretty small, and there are angry tribals underneath every single bush. Most of the locations are either old park buildings like ranger stations and pre-war stores, or caves. There's not much variety. There's also no new creatures, just reskinned old ones. Within the DLC, there are geckos painted green that spew stuff at you, cazadores that eat their Wheaties, and most noticeably the Yaoguais from the Capital Wasteland. To top it all off, after you get ambushed by a dozen angry tribals in the beginning, you get approached by a friendly one. You can very easily mistake him for just another bad guy. If you accidentally blow his head off, you literally end the DLC and just go back to the Mojave. I don't think it's a con, it's actually kind of hilarious. With that said, Obsidian did manage to pack a lot of character into the DLC. Each of the 3 tribes have their own motivations and beliefs. Follows Chalk's weird name comes from...
Our advanced scouts leave chalk signs to mark places rich with game. I'm not a full scout yet, so I follow the marks and guide the hunters.
Adorable. The small details like this are incredibly impressive to me. On top of all of this is the character of Joshua Graham himself.
Make no mistake about why we are here. This is an extermination. God be with you.
He's clearly the central focus of the entire DLC, with ties to Caesar and Ulysses. He's a very interesting and deep character. There is another character called the Father of the Caves by the Sorrows. He's dead, but you can learn all about what he did in terminals spread throughout the caves in the valley. It's neat, though I don't have time for all that extraneous exploration, so I read the wiki. So after killing everyone in Zion, what do you end up with? As you'll notice while running around Zion, practically everyone carries .45 caliber weapons, which obviously don't exist in the Mojave. The auto pistol is modeled after the Colt 1911A, which was actually designed by a Mormon. At one point, Joshua even says that the new Canaanites consider learning to use the .45 auto pistol as a rite of passage, since it was invented by a Mormon 400 years ago. Again, I have to applaud Obsidian's attention to detail as they leaned hard into the Mormon symbolism. Once you complete Honest Hearts, you will find .45 caliber ammo and weapons in most gun stores in the Mojave. So if you're into brandishing your Tommy gun, make sure you finish Honest Hearts early. On a side note, there is an absolute crapload of Brock flowers and Xander root in the valley. I didn't scour every nook and cranny, and I still left with over 60 of each. Combine that with the plants of Dark Soul, and it gives me warm and fuzzy feelings of nostalgia for my second favorite Fallout 2 tribal, Shaman Reginald Barkley.
And also, will I mix the Brock flower with the Xander root together whenever you bring both to me?
When all is said and done, I think Honest Hearts is okay. It's a bit short and there's only a few named NPCs. There's a lot of backtracking though, a lot of you can't fast travel right now, and a heap of getting shot at by white legs you can't see. The best part of Honest Hearts is that it's a small part of a grander vision starring Ulysses. As of writing this, I haven't finished all of the DLCs yet though, and I look forward to seeing how the entire story plays out. My rating for Honest Hearts would be a 3 out of 5. I liked it. The Flaming Bear was fun, follows Chalk is cool. You get to make a lot of decisions that impact the ending slides, and it's neat to see how everything plays out. However, it is a bit monotonous, and I don't really feel the desire to do it again anytime soon. I was also a little confused about the new Canaanites. They are talked about a lot in the DLC, and I expected them to show up at some point. However, the only new Canaanites you meet are Joshua and Daniel. It would have been kind of cool if you managed to make it to a settlement or something. From the minute you start the DLC, everyone is talking about them as if they're right around the corner. Even in the ending slides, it can happen that the Happy Trails Caravan resumes trading with them. I get that the city itself was destroyed and the ground salted, but it felt like it was building up to actually meeting them, and it never happens. I honestly thought I missed something. Still, I think Honest Hearts is worth at least one playthrough, or maybe a couple if you want to see how your decisions affect the story. It's hard to live up to the standards set by the rest of Fallout New Vegas, and that's not a bad thing. If you like this video and you want to support the channel, please like and subscribe. If you have any interesting stories about flaming bears or Zion in general, leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.